Shri Nama Sankirtana. Shri Nama Sankirtana. That's what he was doing. And here, we were talking about, past Dharana, Dhyana, how Sri Narottam Das Thakura, Srinivasa Acharya, they cried in ecstasy. Their state of consciousness is past Ruchi and Asakti. We are in the state of another than everything. So it's hard to comprehend what their state of consciousness is. Ruchi and Asakti, they are absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord with great Ruchi. And they are engaged in the service of the Lord with great Ruchi. Absorbed in the service of the thought with Ruchi inside, and absorbed in the service of the Lord with Ruchi outside. That's their normal way. And so any amount of Uddipana, anytime, will just get them to this stage. That's why Narottam Das Thakura and Srinivasa Acharya, they were crying in ecstasy, just remembering Gaura Hari doing the Sankirtan there. Yeah, and here, yes, please, let me read this. Raghav Pandita continued. A wise person once told me that Advaita Goswami stayed in Mathura during his pilgrimage because of the beauty here. So this is about Advaita Acharya. We just heard about Gaura Sundara and now about Advaita Acharya. At that time, there was a worthless Brahmana in Mathura who invariably spoke ill of the Vaishnavas. That was his worst habit. He was a proud scholar and a wicked man. So the inhabitants of Mathura feared him. Once he spoke harshly about the Vaishnavas in front of Sri Advaita Prabhu. Advaita became so furious that his lips began to tremble and eyes grew red. Did we make a note of this? All that has happened is somebody spoke something harshly about some Vaishnava. Who is speaking about who is immaterial. But Advaita Acharya, he just heard that a Vaishnava is not spoken well. Vaishnava was not respected in the words. For that, he became so furious. So just hearing not so good words about any Vaishnava, they just got furious. Okay. And he shouted at the Brahmana, "Oh, wicked man, today you will not escape from me. I shall sever your head from your body with this chakra." Advaita assumed a four-armed figure and the Brahmana began to tremble in fear. He folded his hands and tried to pacify Advaita by saying, "Oh Lord, punish me as you like. Unfortunately, I have lost my good intelligence and not understanding Vaishnava Tattva." Vaishnava Tattva, how beautiful is that? "I have committed unlimited sins. Please be kind to me and save me from these sins." This is a beautiful, beautiful paragraph. Our unfortunate situation is unconsciously, okay, we don't have this reverence to Vaishnava, but consciously also, we tend to just continue it. Very unfortunate. We cannot expect move any forward in Bhakti, not even a single step. If we are having even ill feelings about Vaishnava in our mind, what to speak of ill words, unpleasant words, unpleasant expressions, and forget about, and the Shastra says, beating a Vaishnava, forget about beating a Vaishnava. So this is the Vaishnava etiquette that we were talking about the other day. And Jiva Goswami says these are all considered Vaishnava Aparadas. Why like that? Let's step back and think about it. Is this just ritualistic reading? Do we have to do it just because they say it? And do we have to be in a fear that we might do it and we will not progress in bhakti? So because we want to progress in bhakti, that's why we do not want to do it. Do we have to be entangled in this kind of fear? What is this Vaishnava Tattva? What is the effect of a Vaishnava Parada in a bhakti? Like, Bhakti Tattva, Gaura Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva, we have already discussed about that in the Harinam series, right? Here, Vaishnava Tattva, regardless of whoever the Vaishnava is, the basic thing is Krishna Adhishtana. Paramatma is situated in everybody's, in the heart of all moving and non-moving beings. So due respect is to be given to everybody. And what to speak of a Vaishnava who is trying to please Vishnu, Krishna. So in regards to that particular person, if our view of thinking is, what is it there for me from the other person? And what is my opinion and my feeling about the other person? Then we are caught up in a, there is a potential of Vaishnava Parada there. If me is the center, if I am the center to judge the other Vaishnava, then it's just the seed of an aparada. Krishna should be the center. What is it that Vaishnava to Krishna? How much are they trying to serve Krishna at to their best? If I look at the Vaishnavas around from that perspective of how they are to Krishna, not to me, I am not the center. They can be however they want to be with me. I am not the center. They have every right of however they want to be with me. But my perspective should be, what is it? What is that Vaishnava to Krishna? And clearly, if the fact that they are Vaishnava, the fact that they're saying, taking Krishna Nama, the fact they're trying to do some service or wanting to do some seva or wanting to do a little bhakti, we have at least a good reason of why we should respect them for whatever they're trying to do for Krishna. So if I have that kind of perspective to any Vaishnava around me, then I will be safe in bhakti. If the perspective is me as a center, there is every potential to do aparada, starting from the thought, what to say about the word and the deed. The formula goes wrong. Me being the center, me being the judge, me being the controller, the formula is wrong right there. How can I expect the result to come out well? Me is not the center. Krishna. What is it for Krishna from them? How much are they doing for Krishna? How much are they trying to do for Krishna? Isn't that wonderful? Against all the odds that we have in this conditional state of life, they are trying their very best to do something for Krishna. That's beautiful. So that kind of perspective is recommended by our Vaishnava Acharyas. This is the fountainhead for the Vaishnava etiquette. And from this stems different Acharyas' teachings and instructions, like Trinadapi Sunichena. Like, I want to give due respect to all the Vaishnavas because I am looking at the Vaishnavas from the perspective of what they're doing for Krishna. And any one of us, when we switch our gears to that kind of thinking, that is past goodness. And automatically, when we try to cultivate that kind of thinking, we will automatically see actually others are better than us without any artificiality in it. Gradually, we will automatically feel and see. When we start looking at, when we start to cultivate this kind of thinking, to see how wonderfully others are trying to serve Krishna against all the odds, we will automatically see that they are better. It does not mean that I have to feel very inferior, inflict upon myself, go into depression. No, it doesn't mean so. It only means that I am respecting and appreciating the efforts of other Vaishnavas to see how they are pleasing Krishna. Manadena. Trinadapi sunichena, taroreva sahishnuna, amanina, manadena. So my respect to others is based on that vision. And then what about me? Then amanina, I do not need any respect. Not that I'm feeling very inferior, not that I'm inflicting pain upon me and I'm going to depression, and not that I'm really putting down myself so as to feel very bad about me and not do any service. Nothing negative about it. Amanina it's a symptom of evolving consciousness. It's a beautiful symptom. Not expecting respect. It doesn't mean feeling inferior, doesn't mean inflicting pain, but not expecting respect, because again, we are looking at ourselves. Our direction is towards Krishna, the same thing as we did for others. We want to look at others and see how wonderfully they are trying to serve Krishna. On the same lines, we want to see ourselves and see how wonderfully Krishna is giving us an opportunity, me an opportunity to serve him. What qualification do I have? I clearly know how much I'm influenced by the modes, ignorance, passion, everything. But still, he gave me the Harinam through Sri Guru. Still, he is engaging me in some kind of seva, putting me in the devotional energy instead of putting me in karma energy. Such insignificant I am. He is doing a great favor to me through Sri Guru. So what is there for me to expect any respect? So I don't really deserve any respect. I don't even want any respect. It's such a liberating feeling. That is Amanina. So that is the link, Amanina and Manadena. Okay. So if, Amanina is, I do not need any respect. Very liberating feeling. And Trinadapi is, as we just discussed, feeling how insignificant we are. It's a beautiful feeling. Trinadapi, and as we have discussed in the past, somebody rightly quoted it as ecstasy of insignificance. That is a real identity. Once we taste our insignificance with the Bhagavan, everything else automatically we will start to feel. The humility just becomes very natural. And the other day we were just discussing what is the difference between being humble and having inferiority complex. Humility will make our service better outside. Humility will make our mood very positive and uplifting inside. Inferiority will stop our service outside. And inferiority will inflict pain within us. So humility is a Vaishnava quality. Inferiority is in mode of ignorance. Then what do I do? What do I do to have a quick discrimination and to move on. Whatever mood that helps us, whatever mood that uplifts us from within and helps us to do the service outside, that is the mood we want to embrace. If we do not know the clear difference between humility and inferiority, the feeling that we have inside should uplift us. And with that uplifting feeling, we should be able to do the service outside. Forget about superiority, forget about inferiority. We're not concerned about that. I want to do the seva outside. I want to feel uplifted inside. This is in relationship with Bhagavan. Bhagavan is so big. I am so small. That feeling itself, linking ourselves with Bhagavan, is uplifting, already connected to Krishna. Bhagavan is so big, I am so small. This is very uplifting and linking me with Krishna. And yes, I want to serve him now in whatever way he needs me to serve. So embracing that kind of feeling within, that can help with whatever service that we are doing outside, anything, then we know we are in humility, but not inferiority. Just with that, this is the fountainhead of all the Vaishnava etiquette and rest of the Trinadapi, Sunichena, and other Vaishnava qualities. If we hold on to this fountainhead, the Vaishnava Tattva, of how we should perceive Vaishnava in relevance to Krishna, not in relevance to me. Vaishnava is a paraphernalia for Krishna, to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. Who am I in between? If we remember that part, and then if we set right this particular aspect at the very root, this is why Tattvajnana is very important for us. If we don't understand this Vaishnava Tattva, that Vaishnava is a paraphernalia for to please Krishna, and who am I in between? If we don't understand this Tattva, then rest of the Trinadapi is too far for us. And giving respect to others is too artificial for us. And not expecting respect is like, oh, then why am I doing this? So everything becomes a little difficult and artificial if we don't understand the Tattva and work our way from there. And now that we understand the Tattva, everything else will start to make sense, more sense for us, all the Acharya teachings. And when we cultivate from these roots, this kind of perception and this kind of thinking, then the words and the behavior would automatically come in line with the Vaishnava behavior. Just by observing this, our bhakti will be saved day after day. If we do not observe this particular thing, though we are trying to do so much externally in the name of service, this and that and this and that, and then we will not be able to go too far. And if we are able to observe this outside the japa very well, then inside the japa, the seva will also go very well. That's one point. And where do we get this strength to actually follow this Vaishnava etiquette? One is to understand this tattva that we have understood now. And second one is by doing our japa attentively, gratefully. That will give us the strength to follow the Vaishnava etiquette outside the japa. Yeah, it's like giving in fuel in the car so it can go on until we fill the fuel again. Like that, if when we do our japa nicely, we will get the strength that is needed. So, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroreva Sahishvana Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahari. So when we are doing that Kirtaniya Sadahari, when we are doing our japa, and that will give us the strength to do Trinada Pisunichana, Taroreva Saishana, Amalina Manadena, and so those 4 things. Yeah, wouldn't pass beyond one paragraph, but this is beautiful. Advaitacharya was so furious that this Vaishnava etiquette was not followed, and that's why. So what we have discussed so far is Vaishnava Tattva. Vaishnava is a paraphernalia meant for the Lord, not for me. Vaishnava is meant to please the Lord. And who am I in between? So, because they are doing their best to please the Lord, I want to respect them. And what about me? I am very fortunate. I am being engaged in the service. I'm very insignificant, full of modes, but still I'm being engaged in the service. So I am insignificant, Trinadapi, and I do not need any respect because whatever I am getting or the service I'm being engaged in is just a prasad from Sri Guru and Krishna. So I do not really need any respect. So Amanina, do not need any respect. But I want to respect others. That is Manadena. So Thinadapi Sunichina is tolerance actually. And if we recall, according to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, the tolerance is coming because we have such a relishment in the bonding with Harinam that when we look at others, we feel sorry that they are not able to relish it. And we are engaged in the devotion happily. And when we look at others that they're not being engaged in the devotion happily, then we feel sorry for them. So if they are saying anything harshly, we understand them and we tolerate that. And we try to see how we can do good for them. That is Taroreva Sahishnana. That is the root of where the tolerance and compassion is coming. Because we are having a taste in devotional service. That's why when we look at others who are not in devotional service and not getting the taste, and that's why they are hurting, we understand that. We tolerate it and still try to do good for them. That's Taroreva Sahishnana. So in this way, I think we have discussed Trinada Pisvanichena, Taroreva Sahishnana, Amanina Manadena. We also discussed the Vaishnava Tattva. How understanding this Tattva can help us follow the Vaishnava etiquette. What is Vaishnava etiquette? Feeling good looking at the Vaishnava. Really feeling good from within. And with that, automatically, the words would be good and the expressions would be pleasing to them, and we will offer proper respect to them too. So that's the very root to avoid Vaishnava Parada. And if we are not there yet, because we are in the beginning of the Bhakti, then at least we should see that our words are our words and expressions don't hurt people around, Vaishnavas around. Though our mind is fighting with us and rebelling with us, then in Kali Yuga, there is not much sin incurred with whatever goes in mind. So we are work in progress inside, but we try to do our best outside in the very beginning until it becomes a habit that the best also happens inside. I'll pause here. That's Advaita Acharya. And we'll move on to the next one later. Actually, maybe the 10th is continuing to 11th. We'll pause here, keeping the time limit. Yes, please. Anything you would like to Say it for yourself, for your reinforcement.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Advaita Prabhu, Advaita Acharya ki Jai Mataji. So I was just asking you, can you take a class on Vaishnava
Right.
etiquette? So
Right. That's what I was thinking.
he made it happen.
Right.
So today class was like so good for me. Complete class was a takeaway for me. So just to reinforce myself. So the first point is, what other Vaishnavas doing for Krishna should be the center point, not what other Vaishnavas doing or behaving with others or me or how they're respecting. It doesn't matter. So and with that combination of Trinadapi looks so powerful. So
Yes.
I take that and. Yeah, and no need to feel either inferior or superior comparing with any other devotee in the bhakti process. That is another takeaway for me, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for today's nectar.
Yeah, it's a nectar. When it comes from the acharyas, all that we have discussed is straight from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. That's why it's a nectar, and that's why I wanted to reinforce again and again. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. So though it's like one para, but it's a pure nectar. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta.